On a sleeping residential street just east of Cleveland, Ohio, a screaming call pierces through the night.
911, what is your emergency? What is going on? Hello?
The caller is desperate, pleading with dispatch to send officers to save her mother, who is being stabbed in the other room. Little does she know, her mother is already dead, and the killer remains bloodied and at large as she and her younger sister hide in terror within the home. The horrifying investigation to follow unearths a family feud turned deadly as officers are forced to grapple with a teenage killer so close to her victim, she can't even bring herself to accept what she's done.
What are your thoughts on that she is not alive?
You should have told me I did it.
Yes.
But with the killer safely behind bars, a revelation emerges that reignites a case investigators were convinced they'd sewn shut.
So, you wanted the hitman to take care of Lisa because she was worth more dead than alive to you?
It's deep into the middle of the night in the picturesque Willoughby Hills of northern Ohio, when a horrifying and nearly unintelligible call reaches dispatch from a home near the Chagrin River.
Oh,
911, what is your emergency? You need to get off the radio, Julius.
The terror coming from within the house is palpable, but the caller's cries are helpless if the operator can't make sense of what she's saying.
What is going on? What is going on? Hello?
my mom was a knot. I keep losing her. She's killing her, please.
What is going on? Who has a knife?
My sister, and I just woke up because I heard yelling.
2520 Chagrin Drive. I need units to head to 2518 Chagrin Drive. I have a female yelling on the phone. Someone else has a knife.
While the operator remains on the phone with the caller, squad cars are dispatched to rush to the area. Despite the screaming, the situation is clear. A woman, likely the caller's sister, has drawn a knife and attacked their mother in her home. And what's more, the caller remains trapped inside the house with the attacker, putting her completely at the mercy of the attacker.
Are you okay? What happened?
The call disconnects abruptly, leaving the officers to blindly make their way to a scene where they have no idea what to expect. Spreading out through the house, nothing on the lower level appears out of place, but from upstairs come heavy footsteps, and as cops make their way towards the source of the commotion, the atmosphere takes a deadly shift. There, in the bedroom doorway, stands the attacker, a slim, blood-soaked knife clenched tightly in her fist. Upon seeing the officers, she drops the weapon, and they move forward swiftly to detain her. The killer is 18-year-old Sabrina Zunick, and what strikes the officers most of all is her uncanny reaction to the crime she's just committed. She remains unresponsive as she's transported to Lake West Hospital, even appearing to wake up suddenly during treatment, asking who it was who caused all the cuts to her hands. What's more, she gives no reaction whatsoever when asked about the homicide. As far as she's concerned, it never even happened. You see, horrifying as this case already is, the full truth is far darker than it appears on the surface. There is one final character whose absence from the scene has been duly noted by police. And as the investigation begins, evidence will soon emerge suggesting the murder of Lisa Knofel was not the work of a single killer, but a coordinated attack, meticulously planned by the very people who should have loved her most. It's the following morning, and Sabrina Zunick has been hauled inside an interrogation room where cops intend on unraveling the events of the night before. She spent the last few hours at the hospital being treated for her wounds and undergoing blood tests that will be used to produce a toxicology report. But inside the interrogation room, investigators have already hit a stumbling block. See, they're well aware this case will hinge on the troubled family dynamics at the heart of the murder. On that front, they've already started piecing together a detailed family tree, attempting to understand exactly what kind of rotten relationship could have driven a daughter to murder her mother in cold blood. As it turns out, the family is a complicated one. Lisa is the mother of Megan and Haley, and the guardian of Sabrina, whom she and her partner fostered in July the previous year. Also in the picture is Lisa's ex-husband Nicholas and her current partner Kevin, though for now the focus will remain on the women who were present on scene. It'll begin with the killer herself, who remains in the interrogation room, her hands bloodied and bandaged, and her mind completely scattered. Nevertheless, the investigators press onwards, wanting to establish a timeline while it's still fresh in the memory. As they begin, they can only hope that Sabrina has recovered from her amnesiac state and is willing to answer their questions.
So what do you recall?
From yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Getting done with my homework, I don't know, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bed.
Anything unusual happen?
I don't know. Everything went fine according to what I knew of.
Sabrina offers the same confused answers she did hours ago, but the interviewers press onwards, eager to lock her into an account of events that will be used to constrain her testimony for the remainder of the case.
I went to do my homework. Then we had hamburger helper. And then I went back to doing my homework. Stayed doing my homework till like 1. I went upstairs. No, it was like 12. Went upstairs, tried to go to sleep. I couldn't go to sleep, so I went to go get some Advil.
Mm-hmm.
Ibuprofen. Because my head hurts, because I have really bad headaches whenever they feel like it. And after that,
Where did you take ibuprofen from?
in they sang Kevin's bathroom.
Was Lisa still awake?
I don't know. I just remember going in there, having the bottle, starting to shake it to get the meds, and then I'm gone from there.
The story provides a convenient out for Sabrina. If indeed she blacked out while committing the murder, it does little to protect her from the consequences of her actions, but it does suggest that the attack wasn't premeditated. At least this is the idea Sabrina seems keen to convey to the officers, who begin to shift their line of questioning accordingly, away from the act itself and towards the deeper issues they believe might be at the heart of Sabrina's actions.
Were you taking any illegal narcotics yesterday?
No, I don't do drugs.
You don't do drugs? When was the last time you did drugs?
3.5 years ago.
3.5 years ago? You have not had any illegal drugs since then? Okay. Have you had these type of issues in the past where you just don't remember things?
When I was in a fight with other people, I blacked out.
Have you ever been checked?
What do you mean, like
Have you,
psychiatrist?
medically? Yeah.
Yeah, I go to a psychiatrist.
Okay. And you take,
Vyvanse and lamotrigine.
okay. And what are those meds for?
The Vyvanse is for ADHD, and
Okay.
lamotrigine is for mood stabilizer/anxiety.
Unbeknownst to the officers as they touch upon Sabrina's medical history, a problem has just arisen in her testimony that throws her entire portrayal into doubt. You see, Sabrina is telling the truth about the medication. Bottles of Lamictal and Vyvanse were recovered from her room, both of which had been prescribed to treat her ADHD and bipolar mood swings. But neither of these should come close to producing the trance-like effects Sabrina is claiming she suffered. And that's where her story starts to wear thin. From the tests conducted at the hospital earlier that morning, a surprising result has emerged. Doctors have discovered traces of ecstasy in Sabrina's blood, something she claims is a side product of her ADHD medication. But given her outright denial of any narcotic use, this now offers a concrete explanation for the blackout she may have suffered. Unfortunately, since the officers are not yet aware of the toxicology report, and since Sabrina seems truly convinced that she remembers almost nothing from the night of the murder, the only route left open to investigators is to try to understand Sabrina's relationship with her parents, in the hopes it might lead them to a motive for the murder.
How do you get along with Kevin?
Kevin and me are cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's more the one that helps me out.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is Megan to deal with. Megan has mental instabilities herself.
Okay.
And so we made agreements a long time ago that if I need anything, that I could go to Kevin. And if it was major that she needed to be involved in, then he would ask, but not to be concerned about small things. Because it's already stressing her out because of her job, and Haley and Megan.
How about with Lisa? How are you dealing with her?
Me and Lisa have never been the best.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've never tried to hurt her, never had any thoughts of hurting her. Yeah, it's been emotional and mental abuse from her to me.
Mm-hmm.
She put her hands on me, not fighting, but restraining me because I wouldn't give an iPod to her. And I don't know. I don't know. She never seemed to like me, and she's been wanting me out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on how Lisa is not alive now?
What?
What is your thoughts on that she is not alive? Maybe you didn't understand. That's what we're talking to you about.
She is me.
She's dead.
You can't tell me I did it.
Yes.
Most of that blood was probably hers.
Recall coming out of the bedroom with a knife in your hand?
No.
Well, you had a knife. And you stabbed Lisa.
I did.
Yes, you did. And Megan called the police.
That can't be true.
Bree, it is. I'm sorry.
With no further information to give them, Sabrina is arrested and taken into custody, where she'll remain until the investigation has taken its course. There's just one problem. Despite the obvious answer hovering just an arm's length away, a nagging feeling remains that not everything is as it seems.
Were you and Lisa in the process of going through a divorce?
Okay, now we're getting outside this room.
It's from this seat of doubt that officers begin to consider a terrible possibility. Sabrina might not have acted alone. Cleaners at the crime scene give reports of an individual present at the home whose behavior has raised some serious questions. Kevin Knofel is the husband of the victim and the father of 3-year-old Haley who witnessed the attack. According to the cleaners on scene when he arrives, the freshly widowed Kevin seems completely unbothered by the crime scene in front of him. About 3 weeks prior to Lisa's death, a fight broke out between the couple, leading Kevin to send an impulsive and ultimately incriminating text message to his 18-year-old daughter, Sabrina. By now, it's become evident that Kevin's involvement goes far deeper than he would have police believe. Kevin has an incontestable defense that will stand up to any scrutiny. The killer was found with blood on her hands, likely under the influence of mind-altering substances, while he was silently sleeping over 100 miles away. Of course, this is exactly how Kevin Knofel drew things up. He never intended on going to prison, only on manipulating his young, mentally unstable daughter into doing the killing for him. And as week after week goes by, the case turns stagnant and the evidence against him gets colder by the minute. Kevin Knofel has killed his wife without so much as lifting a finger, and there is nothing that anyone can do about it. Only there's one thing that Kevin hasn't quite counted upon, something that's about to rear up and throw his entire master plan out the window. Sabrina Zunick is about to speak up.
No, he broke down and cried and said, "I'm taking my life or she needs to be dead." I had full trust in him. I don't know, and I don't trust people. I'd never been in love before, and so I don't want to say that's what I blame it on, but that's the only thing I could think of that would completely blind me from all the hints that were dropped, all the "what are you doing, is this not wrong" type thing. Because before, I was a manipulator, and I was beat at my own game.
That was the voice of Sabrina Zunick, 8 months after she was arrested for the murder of her mother.
So what's made you decide to tell us about Kevin?
Because for some reason, I'm religious and the truth prevails. And for me to go down for this when I wasn't the only one involved. It didn't seem right. And when you start thinking with your head and not your heart, you realize if somebody loved you, they wouldn't let you go down like that.
The revelation just put forward by Sabrina catches everyone off guard, but it quickly forces investigators back into action. Their first lead comes from information gathered back in November, in which a concerned member of the public came forward with a troubling discovery he believed might be of interest to police. The man claimed he was friends on Facebook with a young woman named Autumn Pavlik, a girl he claims to have been dating Sabrina Zunick at the time of the murder. What's more, it was discovered that Autumn had made a post on a Facebook wall about a week before the murder, claiming Sabrina had openly stated she was going to kill her mother. Though Autumn didn't take the threat seriously at the time, she became fearful that her involvement would come to light in the aftermath, leading her to turn the only other person in exactly the same position as her. You see, Kevin Knofel was fully aware of Sabrina's relationship with Autumn, and they also knew they'd discussed his insidious plan to murder Lisa. This information provides the perfect opening for the investigating officers to attempt to get Kevin to admit to orchestrating the killing. Their plan is simple. Under their supervision, a call will be set up between Autumn and Kevin in which she will confront him directly with her own fear of being implicated. So the officers fit her with a hidden camera and microphone, sending her to a location where she and Kevin have agreed to talk the situation through, ostensibly to come up with a story they can both tell police should they come knocking. So, on July 10th, just after 3 p.m., support squads watch on nearby as Autumn makes her way to the address.
You got a new car? Sorry.
What about?
Just some things have been bothering me lately, and like I'm really nervous about a lot. Yeah. Me too, but there's cops that have been contacting my dad, trying to find me, and I have no idea what's going on. Like, what am I supposed to say to them? Because of the whole, like, the hitman thing that we talked about on the phone. So she came to me to get the hitman, saying that, you know, that you wanted the hitman to take care of Lisa for whatever, because she was worth more dead than alive to you. And so I was curious, you know, what do I tell them? Because they said that she said to one of her friends on Facebook who came to me and said, Sabrina is talking, saying that you know stuff, and it's freaking me out. I just don't know what to say to them.
Like I told you before, Sabrina said a lot of doing things, and I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, of course, it's not just gonna go away as much as we all want it to, because now, out of all of it, I know me and you are the only two people who knew anything about what was going on. So I'm curious, you know, if she says, well, Adam knew everything, because I mean, I knew about your guys' whatever partnership you want to call it. You guys are intimate, or like having sex or whatever. I don't know if that's legit, but I want to know, you know, she said you guys were planning on being together after it, and you just wanted Lisa taken out, and, you know, she's worth more dead to you than alive, and I know, I just want to know what I'm, you know, supposed to say if they ask me my side, because I don't...
If there's things that you and Sabrina discussed, then all you can do is say the truth.
Just say the truth?
Can't tell you what to say or what not to say about anything.
So do I tell them about the hitman? Because that's the only way that they could drag me into it.
The pair had been part of a sexual relationship which led to Sabrina falling deeply in love with Kevin. So much so that when he promised her she would get away with murder, she believed every word.
Obviously, Kevin, Mr. Walsh told you some things that we have an indictment against you, okay? And we would like you to talk to us to give us some insight on some things. We have a lot of facts as to your involvement in this case. And we would like to know your side of the story on this and what happened.
Why don't you start at the beginning, Kevin? When did Sabrina come into the house, and how did that all unfold that you became the caretaker? You and Lisa.
It was in June of last year.
June of 2012?
11.
So June of 2011. Okay. And was this your idea that Sabrina come to the house? Was it Lisa's idea, or kind of both your idea?
It was am I allowed to?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was Lisa brought it to my attention. She was at a group home out in Painesville.
Is that something that came out of your church, or something that came out of her employment?
We've been foster parents for ever since I met Lisa. She became foster parents before I met her.
Mm-hmm.
I laid it on the line to her from the get-go, telling her that what we were willing to do to help her, as long as she followed the program, she was more than welcome to stay in her house, even after she was out of care, as long as she stayed in school and followed the program. But then I also told her, I said, as I do with my kids, that if you don't follow the rules of the program, then you're out the door.
And how did she take that conversation?
She liked the fact that we were willing to let her stay with us. Because she was really nervous and worried about being out on her own.
What was the relationship now with Sabrina and Lisa and you?
Had its good days and had its bad days.
Tell us about the good days.
The good days, everything went smooth. There was no problems. Kids did what they needed to do.
Harmony in the home?
Yeah. Tell us about the bad days.
Bad days. You started out with Megan and Sabrina getting into it.
I've been incorrect, or would it be you or would it be Lisa?
It was equal.
Okay.
It got to the point to where Lisa got really frustrated, and so we made the decision for Lisa to just deal with Megan, and I dealt with Sabrina.
Sabrina listened to you more? You had more influence on her?
I don't know if I'd say that, but
as opposed to Lisa? Who had the...
I was able to get through to her better, I believe.
So obviously when you talked, she listened. Whereas Lisa, she talked and all she heard was wah, 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 wah.
Probably a good analogy.
Relationship with Sabrina developed and evolved. Remember, Kevin, we asked you for the truth when we came here.
If we're getting into all this stuff, aren't I supposed to have my lawyer here?
Well, that we explained to you when he read you your rights. But also, we asked you for 3 things. I asked you for the truth. I wanted to hear your side of the story. And we needed to talk to you. This is the time to clear the air. So, it's your decision. You know you have a choice in the matter.
Well, I already have an attorney on record. I think he should be here for all this.
Well, like I say,
I'm only going to say the truth. I'm not going to lie about anything.
Right. That's what I asked you for when we came in here. And you know we have the evidence. I have an 11-count indictment here. And I wanted to discuss the whole thing with you, the whole puzzle. You know, each piece of the puzzle we put together for the last 8 months. And we have the evidence.
I should have the lawyer before we proceed.
Okay. Are you asking for an attorney at this point in time? Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and take your shoes off for me. Shoes right here.
You need drink of water? Thirsty?
Yeah. We'll get you something to drink. All right, go ahead and stand up. I'm going to pat you down. Pat you down. Just put your hands right down the wall. All right, come with me. We'll get you a glass of water in a minute.
It appears that Sabrina was just one in a line of foster children taken on by Kevin and Lisa over the years. Kevin's trial didn't occur until May the following year, but during testimony, Nicholas Zanella, the father of Megan and ex-husband of Lisa, spoke at length about the ramifications his actions would have. He was eventually found guilty on all 11 counts with which he was charged: 3 counts of complicity to aggravated murder, 2 counts of conspiracy to commit aggravated murder, and 6 counts of sexual battery for the relations he had had with Sabrina before she turned 18. For his crimes, Kevin Knofel was sentenced to life in prison, where he won't be eligible for parole until July 2055. As for Sabrina, she was sentenced the following September, where she pled guilty to 1 count of aggravated murder. At the hearing, she admitted to stabbing Lisa Knofel more than 170 times, an attack witnessed by the victim's 13-year-old and 3-year-old daughters. Similar to her accomplice, she won't be eligible for parole until 2042 at the earliest.